Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to the Boxing Day edition of the dceu Daily. Welcome. Did you have a good Christmas then? Are your bellies full? Are your heads thumping? Mine certainly are, yeah. It was a really good Christmas day. I actually cooked my first ever chicken, started to burn it, but I saved it. A bit like Superman. I saved the day. So it was really, really awesome. So I had a great Christmas, just me and my dad, not the same thing as normal. Couldn't see my nephews and nieces, really sad, but we made the best of things, and I'm sure you guys and girls and everybody else out there did as well. So I do hope you had a great Christmas. It's Boxing Day, pretty much still is Christmas. Yesterday wasn't just about whatever you celebrate on Christmas Day, but it was the release of Wonder Woman 1984 in the US. And if you were lucky enough to live in America, are you lucky to live in America? I personally wouldn't want to live in America. But hey, you're stuck with what you're stuck with. You know what you know, right? Anyway, so it was released in theatres where safe to open, and it was released on HBO Max at 9 a.m. So, wow, how lucky are you if you've got access to that, because you can watch it as many times as you want. A really good movie, a really good feel-good movie. As far as I'm concerned, a good movie, not a great movie, and certainly nowhere near the first one. And so I've been getting a lot of reactions from people on this movie. They come from people feeling underwhelmed, loving it, being inspired by it. And so it's really good that people have got this opportunity to watch it on HBO Max and theatres where it's safe to go and do so. And so Christmas Day is pretty big this year, hasn't it? So yesterday you were all getting your boxes ready. You were getting your treats ready to watch it at home. And that's really, really great. So I just want to ramble on a bit today. It is the dceu Daily. I don't have any news for you today. There's nothing really going on. So I just want to talk about Andy Muschietti's Flashpoint. Because Andy Muschietti's Flashpoint is a film. I don't think people understand how massive this film's going to be and the responsibility heaped on Andy to make this movie. This is the defining moment in the DC Extended Universe. This is the reshaping of the DC Extended Universe. But this goes bigger than the DCEU, of course, because this is all about this multiverse strategy that I keep on boring on about. Because it's so big. And this film really has to work. There's going to be changes. There's going to be things in this movie that won't suit everyone. But there's going to be a lot of cameos and crossovers. For the first time in the DC Extended Universe's history, because this is the future. Cameos and appearances and, crossovers. It's what most of us want. I wouldn't say it's what everyone wants, but I certainly think it's the right decision. And so it's a big film, and it's a big responsibility for Andy. And I believe he can pull it off. There's no question about that. This is resetting this universe, where things will be rebooted but not forgotten. So there's a lot of things going to happen in this movie, and I think it's the biggest movie out of any CBM right now. I totally believe it. I think it's bigger than Spider-Man 3. Now, Marvel fans won't agree with that, but I think this is a reshaping of a universe. This is the moment. This is the big moment, everyone. Where is everyone going to sit? Where are all our favourite characters going to sit when this is all said and done? Well, this is the big question, isn't it? And this is the big DC project. This is the one that's going to make or break the franchise. And so I was thinking about this on Christmas Day. I'm thinking how big this is as I was having a few glasses of red wine, or maybe more than a few, as I say, I'm a bit, yeah. But anyway, we're going to go on with the show. I'm a professional, for crying out loud. And so I was just thinking about this, because the best time for me thinking is on my patio having a cigarette. Terrible habit, but it really does clear my mind and my brain cells. And so I was just thinking how big this is and how exciting this project is going to be. And you look at it, and you look at how long we've waited for this Flash movie to be developed with all the different creatives, thinking that Zack Snyder originally wanted a Flashpoint movie. Then the game night directors came in and were going to do kind of a really light 2-hour kind of affair, kind of a Back to the Future type thing. and then they were gone. And then there was rumours of Ezra Miller writing a story, apparently going to be a dark story, but it wasn't a dark story. It was a very similar idea to what the game night directors were going to do. So that's weird. It kind of seems to me that the game night directors and him were working together. I know that's not what the rumour said, but it's odd that they both had the same idea. And now Andy Muschietti's running things now. Well, he's doing this movie. I don't think he's totally running this movie, by the way. This is a studio. This is a studio production, front and centre. This is a Jim Lee and Walter Hamada project. There's no question about that. He didn't come in and say, oh, I'm going to do a Flashpoint movie. He's been told he's going to do a Flashpoint movie. And so the film's going to be written, or has been written, by Christina Hodgson. Now, Andy says it's a great script. There's a first time for everything, Christina, hey? Fingers crossed. I've given you my theory that I think that Ben Affleck has rewritten big portions of this movie. It's going to look, it's such a big, huge responsibility, this film. And there can be no playing about with this. This is a resetting of a universe. This is Flashpoint. So the story of Flashpoint basically is Barry Allen goes back in time to try and save his mother's life, which he does, but he changes the timeline and creates a new universe. He fixes it, but some of the changes there remain there. So obviously this is going to differ from the comics. Now, how will it differ from the comics? Now, obviously this film is being done to change certain elements and certain characters, maybe even actors in the DC Extended Universe. So there's certain things they're going to change that will stick, that won't be like what we saw in the comics. Now, we already know that Bruce Wayne's father is not going to be the Batman that Ezra Miller's The Flash teams up with in this. It's not going to be Thomas Wayne. It's going to be someone else. Now, we saw Thomas Wayne at the beginning of BVS. And so it's going to be Michael Keaton's Batman that he meets and gets help from. And, of course, we're all extremely excited about that. Michael Keaton's playing a big role in this film, as is Ben Affleck's Batman. Now, well, you know, how many shocks can you give an audience, right? A group of geeks, nerds and fans. Not only is Michael Keaton's Batman in this, but after saying he was done with playing Batman, you know, Batfleck is returning. One of my major concerns about this is that they may kill him off in this movie. We'll have to see what they do. Look, this film is going to be controversial because everybody sits on different sides of what they want from this. You know, obviously the Snyderverse fandom, which I'm a part of, but, you know, wider than that, I'm a DC fan, and they're going to be concerned what's going to happen with, you know, the Snyderverse characters. Where do they sit? Will they be removed from the central point of the DC Extended Universe? I think that's a given. As I've said before, I believe that Earth 1, after Flashpoint, will be a blank universe that needs to be filled, and I think they will fill that up. Maybe we'll be introduced to these new Earth 1 characters as part of the changes that Barry makes when he kind of resets the universe to save his mother's life. And so I think we may have clues and hints of what's going to happen. But I do believe it's going to be a brand new Earth 1. Zack Snyder's characters will no longer be Earth 1. Now, it's interesting, isn't it? With everything that's going on with Wonder Woman 84, all the comments from Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins, they may not be around after Wonder Woman 84. So we may, I mean, before is a question mark, because you kind of think, well, Gal Gadot won't be moved to HBO Max. Look at the fuss her and Patty Jenkins are making about, you know, Warner Media, you know, smashing the theatrical release window. So it's clear that they wouldn't want to be involved in purely streaming. And so they would remain centrally. But if they're both going to have it on their toes, right, that the saying's going to change. We need a new Wonder Woman. We need a new Wonder Woman director. This could be a perfect opportunity to do this within Flashpoint. I think people will be flabbergasted and destroyed and brokenhearted if Patty Jenkins leaves. And obviously Gal Gadot. If Gal Gadot leaves, people are going to be distraught because Gal Gadot is such a great Wonder Woman. She is Wonder Woman, and it will be hard to see anyone else in the role. But at the end of the day, my point is, if you're not happy to be part of this universe, if you want to be a dictator and tell a studio how to do things, and then you're going to be gone. And, you know, Patty's been very public, and they could have fallen out, as I discussed on Christmas Day. So this film brings an opportunity to replace people that maybe are part of the problem. And so this is going to be really interesting what they do with this film. And it's such a, as I've said already, a huge project, a massive project. And, you know, when you think about the responsibility of doing this, and I'm sure Jim Lee and Walter Hamada, as we speak, thinking about this, what they're going to do, the changes they're going to make, I'm sure they know the changes they're going to make, the people they're going to integrate into this universe, you know, the cameos, the crossovers. But how do you set up a brand new Earth 1? Because I don't believe Zack Snyder's verse is going to be Earth 1 any longer. It was, but I don't believe with Flashpoint that will remain the same. So there's going to be some massive changes to what we're used to in this franchise, and how they do it is very important. So this film is going to have people talking. You see, with Spider-Man 3, you could have Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and a few other people, but they're just cameos. They're not really, it's not changing the game. Yes, it brings the multiverse into the MCU. It makes all these cameos possible, which is quite exciting. But what the DC Extended Universe are going to do, they're using Flashpoint. They're using all these cameos and crossovers for a reason. They're using it to change things, to kind of rejig and remold the clay in the DC Extended Universe. So it's a big moment. And we're talking about the end of 2022 till this happens. So there's plenty of time to discuss this and kind of theorize what their actual plan is. I mean, I was staggered when Andy Muschietti mentioned it on DC Fandom. Staggered. I mean, I've been reading rumors for weeks and months about this. I thought they're never going to come out and say this. Surely this is just speculation and rumors. But when he actually admitted it and said, you know, we're opening up the multiverse and, you know, Barry's going to reboot the universe and things will be forgotten. No, things will be rebooted but not forgotten. And I mean, it's interesting. What is he alluding to there? Is that how things will go back after Barry fixes Flashpoint? Or are these going to be things that are just there while he creates this new universe by changing the past? It's interesting what's going to happen with this movie, but it's really, really big. There's no question. It opens up the whole DC movie franchise to so many kind of potential aspects. And that's why, for me, it's really, really huge. And it's so important. It's a pivotal moment in the franchise, because ever since this franchise started with Man of Steel, there's been detractors, there's been negativity, there's been positivity as well. And we went from Man of Steel with a reaction to that movie, then BVS, then Suicide Squad. Everyone seemed to love Wonder Woman 2017. Justice League was a mess. And then Aquaman, pretty much a really successful film, over $1 billion. Some people thought the film wasn't very good. I think most people and most critics absolutely loved that film. So that was a success. Shazam made a little bit of money, but it made a profit, a little bit of a profit. So that's deemed as a success, a really good family DC Extended Universe movie. And then Birds of Prey, there's not much you can say about that film. The film's a failure in every sense of the word. And so it's been such an in and out franchise. But most of all, this franchise in every movie has made a profit, apart from Justice League. So it's a very interesting franchise that I could talk about for days and days and hours. And we're not going to do that. I have to try and stop myself. And so the moment of this Flashpoint movie is really exciting. You know, potential of Nick Cage's Superman and Arrowverse characters crossing over, Grant Gustin, and so many others. It's such a big moment, and it's something I've been looking forward to ever since it's been announced, because I know what this means. I know what this means. I know how big this is. And if they get it right, the potential is unlimited for this franchise, and it's going to hit the big time. If they get it wrong, we're back to where we started. So I'm a bit nervous about this Flashpoint. I'm nervous and excited about this multiverse strategy, because I know how badly wrong this could go. But I also know if they get this right, this opens the doorway to absolutely anything and everything. And that really does excite me. So, Scott Edwards has tagged me on Twitter. Please tag me on Twitter and follow me on Twitter at MoviesTVMad, where you can make suggestions, posters, send me some fan art, Send me articles to read, make suggestions on videos, and I'll give you a shout out. At Movies TV Mad, here's an awesome Arrowverse Merry Christmas artwork for tomorrow's DCEU Daily. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This is pretty cool, right? I don't know, look, the lighting is pretty crap today here, so I don't know if you can see that properly, but I'm going to show it to you. And then at Movies TV Mad, here's an awesome artwork of Supergirl. I love her as a character so much. I would say her Superman, the Flash, and White Canary are my absolute favourite heroes in Arrowverse. Love the characters, even though writing isn't great sometimes. Yeah, we can agree there. So there is another beautiful piece of artwork. As I say, the lighting's pretty shit, but I'm sticking it out there for you to see it. Shall I rephrase that? Then Scott's got more for me. At Movies TV Mad, since tomorrow is Christmas, yeah, he sent these a couple of days ago, and I did my Christmas Day video too early for me to use his stuff. Since tomorrow is Christmas, I think we should give a shout out to Superman and Lois. I'm considering this show a Christmas present. I'm so thankful and happy we're getting this show because I love Superman and DC superheroes so much. Yes, I'm excited for Superman and Lois. I'm skeptical. I'm also excited. Let's see what they do with my favourite character. I am so thankful for Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Supergirl, White Canary, Martian Manhunter, Alex Danvers, Green Arrow, Aquaman, Mirror, and Black Lightning. Love them all. Do you like my choices? And what heroes are you most thankful for? I mean, there's a lot of characters in that list that obviously I can take or leave. I mean, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Supergirl. I mean, White Canary's all right. It's not one of my favourites. Martian Manhunter's awesome. Alex Danvers, I can take or leave. Green Arrow, awesome. Aquaman, Mirror, and Black Lightning. Yeah, they're all good characters. I mean, you should know by now, Scott, that Superman's my character, and he's number one. And, of course, Batman's very awesome. So, I love all these DC characters, but, Superman is my person. Always will be. So, thank you, Scott Edwards, for all the things you've sent in. Really much appreciated. And anyone who wants to do the same, tag me at Movies TV Mad over on Twitter. The DC Extended Universe. It's one of those huge topics that garners so many emotions. Hate, envy, love. And you think about it, Man of Steel, BVS, the other films. And we were having a Justice League movie made for us by Zack Snyder. And even though we've had all the negativity about his DC Extended Universe movies, he was making a Justice League movie. It was very, very exciting. If anyone was making a Justice League movie, it's a massive event, as the Avengers Assemble movie was very huge for Marvel fans. And so that moment when I heard he was stepping down and not doing the editing and finishing up the film was shocking to me. And when I heard his daughter had taken her own life, I totally understood his reasoning, his official statement. I think now it's pretty clear that Zack would have carried on making this movie if it wasn't for the internal wranglings within the studio. And I put that on Kevin Sugihara. A lot of interference from that man because he got nervous because of the reactions of BVS and MOS. There's no question about that. So 1 minute you've got Zack Snyder doing it. Then we're told his good friend Joss Whedon, of course they're not friends, his good friend Joss Whedon. I mean, would you start mocking your friend's directing when he got a character to wear a hoodie? Hilarious. But anyway, yes, so all of a sudden we're told his so-called good friend Joss Whedon, as a favour, is taking over just to finish off the film. Not many changes, maybe a few reshoots. So we all believed him. We're thinking, wow, Joss Whedon. At that time, there was no reason not to be confident about Joss. He had done Buffy, he had done Angel, seemed like a really good guy, really good creative. Done the Avengers movie. That first Avengers movie is awesome. I think now that maybe he wasn't as in control of that movie as we're led to believe. But anyway, so we were very excited. We just felt, yeah, he's just going to polish it off. Then things became very suspicious because he brought in his own composer. All of a sudden, Junkie XL's coming on Twitter saying he's been taken off the project. I still wasn't suspicious and I was still confident. I kind of understood maybe why Whedon would want his own composer on it. And he's a great composer, by the way. It's only when you see the film. It's only when you see the movie. when you realise that this is not Zack Snyder's film at all, that it's absolutely been rushed, so bad that the poor people doing, with the CGI technology, the CGI effects and the VFX didn't have enough time to do a good enough job. Let me be clear, I respect those people in that department. This is why I try not to be too scathing of the effects in Justice League. It's not their fault. They were rushed. That schedule. So it's just crazy, really. It's just crazy when you think about what happened, the lies, the backstabbing, and then the fight we put up to get that movie, and now we're getting it. And Zack was very emotional about the movie and the fans over on Grace Randolph's Beyond the Trailer YouTube channel. So listen, it's a big moment for Zack. A big moment for Zack. It's a big moment for the fans. And you just think about what's to come in the next 3 months. He's promised a really big, exciting trailer that will blow people away. When Zack Snyder says he's doing a trailer that's going to blow you away, it's going to blow you away. The man's not bluffing. I mean, the trailer he's done for us already is pretty awesome. And apparently it's nothing to what he's going to give us. So, listen, it's such an exciting time. It may be Christmas. We may be full up and bloated and a little bit drunk like I am now. On this Boxing Day, it's like the day after the night before. But we can be level-headed enough to say this is a good thing. We are getting a 4-hour Justice League movie. Now, 5 years ago, if fans were told this, they'd be ever so excited. But it's a mixture of reaction and opinions, isn't it? Oh, it's Zack Snyder's, it's going to be bad, it's going to be the same as the other movie. So just for a minute, just for a couple of minutes or so, let's talk about what this movie is. Is it a brand new movie? Is it a brand new story? It is not a brand new story. It is the same story continuing from BVS. It is that Steppenwolf story. It is about the mother boxes and who's going to gain the mother boxes. It's about all of that. So elements of what you saw on Justice League, kind of the kind of narrative, similar. But this is a more expansive story. There's more to this story. And the characters are going to be so more better. They're going to be more expanded upon. That's what I'm trying to say. And so, although this is totally a different film, because this is Zack's version of the movie, when you're watching the film, you may feel, oh, well, that's kind of familiar. And you're going to get that. Because basically, Joss Whedon rewrote many elements of the movie and reshot many elements of the movie, and they're going to kind of cross bridges in certain ways. But this is Zack Snyder's version of the Justice League. This is the director's cut of his original Justice League. This is not the director's cut of Joss Whedon's movie. Joss Whedon's movie is in the bin, as Patty Jenkins has already seen this. Joss Whedon's Justice League isn't canon, but Zack Snyder's is. This is something we've all wanted. So, I was talking about Flashpoint earlier because it's interesting where Zack's universe, that's one of the fascinating questions for me, what happens next. And Zack's been very coy about this. He doesn't know if it's going to happen. He doesn't think it's going to happen. Listen, Zack knows he's going to continue. Zack wants to continue. The studio want him to continue. There's no question about it, but we have to wait. This is a big thing and they have to wait to collect the numbers, to calculate the numbers. How big is this? How much are they going to give him? How much is it worth their while to continue it? So they have to wait and we have to be patient. But this project is huge. It really is huge to see his vision. Now we're seeing a more expanded vision of his Justice League than we would have done if his theatrical cut was released in 2017. He's been given more money, a bigger opportunity. And it's clear that he really wanted people to see his and David Ayer's Joker, for example, or his Deathstroke, for example. So he wanted those things back in there. And so that's terribly exciting. And so we're in this situation now where this is a bigger project than it ever was going to be, where a director has sweated blood and tears and sweat, right? Blood, sweat and tears into this project. You know, with everything that's happened to him personally and professionally, of course he's going to have tears in his eyes when he's talking about it and what we've done to help him get this movie so we can see this movie. It's a big moment, and there's no question about it. DC means a lot to Zack. and he wants to carry on making projects, live action projects and animated projects and even comic books, as he's mentioned. So it's an important moment, and if you're excited about it, you need to support it. This is a big moment. This is a massive film. I can't think of any other film that I'm looking forward to so much. And I know it's going to also be a series on HBO Max, film series, whatever. But this is the biggest DC project. As an all-round DC fan, not just the Snyderverse fan, this is the biggest project for me. The only bigger project for me would be is if they announce a Superman movie. And I don't care who's going to play Superman. Superman is the biggest thing ever. Because this is a big Superman arc anyway, right? We've seen his story in Man of Steel, in Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, and we're going to see the continuation of this Superman story, maybe the conclusion, who knows? Let's see if we get more. I'm confident we will get more Cavill, and that's an exciting thing for me. And it's like all these future plans now, they're quite exciting, because the DC Extended Universe can go beyond the MCU. It can be so expansive, so interconnected, even more than the MCU is. So it's a big moment. This is why I said before, Andy and Jim Lee and Walter Hamada really have to get Flashpoint right. It's important for the future of the whole franchise. But I want to know what you think. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. See you again soon.